In the middle of a vibrant marketplace, a single misunderstanding stops everyone in their tracks. A mother, a businesswoman, a crowd holding its breath, and a moment that would change an entire community forever. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Black Inside 2.0 for more emotional real-life stories that touch the heart. There are moments in life when time slows down, not because something dramatic has happened, but because something important is trying to reveal itself. Moments that test our patience, our grace, our assumptions, and our ability to truly see each other. This is a story about one of those moments. It all began on a warm afternoon in Marrakesh Square, where every corner shimmered with color, aroma, and rhythm. The marketplace breathed like a living canvas, textiles swaying in the breeze, spices perfuming the air, and soft sounds of vendors calling out their greetings to curious travelers. And in the heart of this lively energy stood Janelle, a young mother holding her baby girl, Amara, close to her chest. The world around them seemed to glow whenever Amara giggled, a tiny sound that felt like sunlight in motion. Janelle had traveled here with her sister for a family celebration, and although she was far from home, she felt comforted by the warmth of the people, the laughter of children running between stalls, and the easy rhythm of the day. At another corner of the marketplace stood Clara, the head hostess of a well-known café. Clara was known for her quick pace, tidy suit, and unwavering commitment to keeping things in order. Her green blazer flashed through the crowd as she rushed between tables, making sure everything ran smoothly. Some admired her efficiency, others whispered that she cared more about timing and appearances than people. Clara had her own story, one of pressure, high expectations, and the constant feeling of being one mistake away from disappointing everyone around her. What neither woman knew was that their paths would cross in a way neither expected. The Marketplace Cafe was busy that day, busier than usual. A festival was approaching, and tourists filled the area with curious eyes and hungry stomachs. Every table seemed taken, and the staff darted around like dancers in a carefully choreographed routine. Janelle approached the cafe with her sister, hoping to find a small table to feed baby Amara and rest for a moment. Her sister had been carrying their bags, but when she stepped away to look at a nearby vendor's stall, Janelle approached the hostess stand alone. Clara was in the middle of seating a group when she turned and nearly bumped into Janelle, who was adjusting the baby carrier. The motion startled Clara, and in that split second, she misread the situation completely. To her, it appeared as though someone was blocking the entrance on one of the busiest days of the month. She raised her hand, not to strike, but in an exaggerated expression of stress and surprise, the kind used by people who speak with their hands more than their voices. Unfortunately, to everyone around them, the gesture looked far more intense than she intended. Her face tightened, her voice rose, and the moment froze. Janelle stepped back, eyes wide, instantly protective of little Amara. She didn't raise her voice, she didn't have to. Her expression alone carried a calm strength that made the crowd hold its breath. People at nearby tables gasped. A police officer standing close turned his head sharply. A passerby paused mid-step. Everything became still, and for a moment, two women, one overwhelmed by responsibility, the other fiercely protective of her child, stood facing one another, each believing the other had misunderstood her completely. When something unexpected happens in public, people react in waves. Some jump to conclusions, others try to intervene, and many simply freeze, unsure what to do. A young tourist at a nearby table whispered, "Is something wrong?" A cafe server stepped forward, worry etched across his face. Even baby Amara sensed the tension, shifting gently in her mother's arms. But through the quiet shock, Janelle remained steady. She didn't shout, she didn't rush. Instead, she took a slow breath. The way she held her child, firm yet gentle, seemed to anchor her with grace that drew respect rather than alarm. Clara, realizing the entire marketplace had fixed their eyes on her, felt her throat tighten. She had never meant to escalate anything. Her hands trembled as she lowered them. I didn't mean," she started, but the words tangled on their way out. Janelle's voice, soft yet strong, broke the silence. "I'm simply looking for a place to sit with my daughter." That was all she said. Nothing more, no accusations, no raised tone, and somehow, that gentle clarity was more powerful than anything she could have shouted. Clara's face flushed with embarrassment. She looked around and saw the impact of her outburst reflected in the eyes of strangers. It wasn't anger she saw, it was disappointment. The kind that stings harder. She looked at Janelle, then at the baby, and something inside her shifted. Her shoulders lowered, her voice softened. I'm so sorry. I misunderstood. Please, let me fix this." Her apology wasn't rushed or thrown out carelessly. It came from a place of genuine reflection. Janelle nodded slowly, not out of obligation, but out of understanding. She had seen this before, moments where stress twisted meaning, where people reacted before thinking. She knew how easy it was for people to judge one another too quickly. "Thank you," she replied. "I appreciate that." Clara blinked, surprised by the grace she was being offered. Clara led Janelle and her sister to a quiet corner of the café, shaded and comfortable. The staff hurried to bring water, menus, and an extra cushion for baby Amara. As they settled in, the atmosphere eased. Conversations resumed, but softer this time, as if the entire marketplace had learned something about patience, about perception, about the importance of seeing people as human beings before anything else. Even the officers nearby exchanged glances, realizing the situation had resolved not through force or authority, but through compassion and communication. A few minutes later, Clara returned, not with menus this time, but with sincerity. She pulled up a chair near Janelle, careful not to intrude but unable to walk away without speaking the words she needed to say. "I've been under pressure for weeks," she admitted, "trying so hard to get everything right that I've been getting everything wrong with people. I didn't take a moment to understand you. I reacted, and I'm grateful you handled it with calmness instead of judgment." Janelle looked at her, thoughtful. "We all have days that push us to our limits. What matters is how we choose to move forward." Clara smiled, the tension melting from her face. "You handled that better than I did." Janelle returned the smile. "Sometimes motherhood teaches patience, even when you least expect it." Baby Amara giggled at that exact moment, adding a spark of joy to the air. Clara laughed softly. "She has perfect timing." Janelle lifted her daughter gently. "She reminds me to stay grounded." What neither woman realized was that their conversation had become part of the marketplace's unfolding story. A couple seated nearby whispered to each other, "I want to handle misunderstandings like that, from now on." A vendor nodded approvingly, reminded of his own promise to treat customers with empathy even on stressful days. Two cafe servers quietly agreed, "We need more of that energy here." Even the officers, who had stayed a respectful distance away, shared a glance that said, "This is how communities grow stronger." It wasn't the tension that made the moment memorable. It was the resolution, the grace, the humility, the understanding. In a world where conflicts often turn into spectacles, this one had turned into a lesson. Later that afternoon, as the sun dipped lower and the marketplace glowed with warm golden light, Clara approached Janelle's table once more, to check in, but also to offer something unexpected. "There's a tradition here," she said softly. "When something meaningful happens in the square, we invite the people involved to add a written wish to our community board. It's a way of reminding ourselves what truly matters." She held out two small wooden tags, smooth, simple pieces with tiny strings attached. Janelle's sister returned from browsing the market and joined them, curious. Clara explained the tradition, and the women smiled, touched by the idea. Janelle took a pen and wrote slowly, thoughtfully, "May we remember to pause, breathe, and see each other fully." Her sister added her own message, "Patience reveals truth." Clara hesitated before writing hers, but when she finished, her hands felt lighter. "May I lead with understanding, not assumption." The three women walked to the board together and hung their tags among hundreds of others. Some were faded, some newly hung, but each carried a message from someone who had experienced their own growth in the marketplace. As the evening breeze swept through the square, Janelle prepared to leave with baby Amara asleep in her arms. She turned to Clara with a warm smile. "Today could have gone differently," Janelle said gently, "but I'm glad it didn't." "Me too," Clara replied, her voice sincere. "You reminded me what real hospitality is, not serving quickly, but seeing people." They exchanged a quiet, meaningful nod. Not an apology, not forgiveness, something deeper, mutual understanding. And as Janelle disappeared into the flow of the marketplace, Clara stood still for a moment, breathing in the air of a new beginning. She wasn't the same woman who had started her shift that morning. And Janelle, holding her daughter close, carried the peaceful confidence of someone who had just changed a small corner of the world, with nothing but calm strength, clarity, and compassion. If this story touched your heart, remember, sometimes the smallest misunderstandings can create the biggest chances for growth. And if you'd love more emotional, cinematic stories that celebrate humanity, don't forget to subscribe to Black Inside 2.0. Your support means everything.